No public be heard?
No problem.
Okay, so a couple of announcements to make. There will be a special town board meeting held this Thursday night, November 10th at 7 p.m. at the town hall for the 2017 budget hearing, public hearing. So come on down and join us. The next thing, just a reminder, and a reminder to the board that next Tuesday on the 15th, we have our public hearing on the proposed amendments to the zoning law. A couple more announcements that I didn't put on the agenda. One, I just wanted to let everybody know that our PARI program with the police department,
The what?
the PARI program,
Oh, okay, yes.
has successful placement last week of a young person who came in, wanted to get cleaned up. Two different police officers worked with this individual. At least one member of the Angels program was involved. And it took a couple of days, which is normal, but I think he came in on a Friday, and by Monday he was placed in a facility in Colorado. And so it worked, and it worked really well. So that was good. The other thing is, and Kerry has put it up on Facebook and also on the town website, and there will be a copy in the purple folder. The DEC has come back to the town with a proposed plan to do a new parking lot or an additional parking lot up on McDaniels Road.
Oh, great.
And then they have a plan to link the parking lots with a trail. And they're also talking about doing a parking lot down at the California Quarry site. And I believe there's a trail that leads up to the tower from there. They will have a public meeting. They've scheduled it for the 29th of November, 7 to 9 at the community center, if anybody would like to make comments. I think Kerry calls it.
They might have.
Okay.
Yeah.
They may.
There's three of us, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Just verify that for me.
Yeah.
And
7 p.m.
7 to 9.
11/29, which day of the week is 11/29? November 29th?
I think it's a Monday or Tuesday,
What was the
right?
date?
Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah, it would be right, because the 15th is our meeting, so that would be Tuesday.
25th or 6th or 7th.
It is
It's a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday.
11/29.
Okay, 7/9,
Tuesday.
about the DEC proposal.
Yes.
Cool.
And just a reminder, I almost.
7 o'clock.
And where?
The community center. That's the Hornbeck.
Just a reminder to everybody, it is election day, and the polls are open till 9, so go vote if you haven't already. And that's all I have. Anybody else have any
Yeah,
announcements?
I
Jay?
have two. I'm sure everybody is aware that for some time now, towns up and down the Hudson River have been objecting to the idea of having more anchorages along the river for fuel vehicles or ships, and that the Ulster County Legislature has chimed in opposing that. And so I figured it was time for Woodstock to join that effort. And so I have a very simple little thing that I'd like to read to you all. Whereas we, the Woodstock Town Board, are aware of the ongoing danger to our environment from the use of fossil fuels, and whereas we recognize that the continuing use and extension of those uses are a disastrous mistake, and that all efforts should go into the development and use of renewable energy. And whereas the ongoing effort to develop anchoring sites along the Hudson River by the U.S. Coast Guard for ships carrying fuel oil to and from Albany and other places is in direct contradiction to making our planet a safer and healthier environment. And whereas many towns along the Hudson River have voiced opposition to the search for these new additional anchorages, and that the Ulster County Legislature has joined in the clamor of opposition to this destructive idea. And whereas the Woodstock Town Board recognizes that the Hudson River along with its unique beauty and its relationship to our environment, is a crucial part of Woodstock's life, and that whatever affects one community affects us all. Therefore, we, the Woodstock Town Board, join all municipalities and other voices in absolutely opposing the attempt to develop additional Hudson River anchorages, and that this resolution shall be forwarded to the U.S. Coast Guard and to the chair of the Ulster County Legislature, and that I will get you the address for the Coast Guard tomorrow.
So wait a second though, is this a resolution for tonight?
Yeah,
I'll second it for purpose of discussion.
pardon?
I will second it for purpose of discussion.
Fine.
Have you emailed us this one?
No, I just wrote it a little while ago.
Oh, because I was gonna say, this is like, brand new.
You can talk it.
Oh, it's brand new to everybody.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to table this and put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to this, but, in fairness, I think we've always agreed that we would bring things forward before. That's the only,
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'd like to make one small update if I may.
Go.
And I actually like it. I like it.
Okay.
But in the second paragraph, when he's saying those uses are a disastrous mistake, I would like to say those uses can be a disastrous mistake. So if you wouldn't mind putting the words can be instead of are, those uses can be a disastrous mistake. I'd be happier with it if it said that. But I actually, having read it, I would be happy to vote for it next week.
Fine.
Can be.
Can be, I would just make that a can be.
Okay.
Okay.
But I like it, I like it, and I appreciate, Jay, that you're focused on protecting the people and the environment, and I agree that the anchorages are a problem, and so thank you for bringing this forward.
So move to table.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's
All
right.
all in
Next week,
favor?
yes.
Second? Do I have a
Sure,
second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jay, since you love these resolutions, I'll ask you to consider penning another one. The Standing Rock Reservation and what's going on out there.
Okay.
And I have 2 or 3 resolutions that were emailed to me that have been passed by other communities.
Oh,
Do-
I haven't seen any.
Are you comfortable with doing something with that as well?
Well, I haven't seen it, but
No,
sure.
but you're not opposed to the idea that, oh,
Well, I guess I'm not, I don't know the detail of what's behind what you're saying, but when I read it, I'll figure it out.
okay, well, I think what's going on out there with the standoff,
Yeah.
we should encourage peaceful demonstrations, and I have a huge problem when peaceful demonstrators are being arrested and then 12 white supremacists with guns out in Oregon get let off by a jury. There's
Yeah,
something
no, I've
wrong.
been watching some of that, it's pretty awful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Jay, if you,
I'll be happy to do that.
I will, I'll try and remember to email you those tomorrow, but Carrie has them
Oh,
in the email form.
I'll get them from Carrie then.
Okay.
Okay.
She has the emails? Or?
Regarding Standing Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do that. And I have one other thing.
Okay.
This is a message, or whatever you want to call it, to the Woodstock Town Board from a group that's calling itself the Woodstock Vision Committee. We are a group of Woodstockers who include several prominent local businessmen, several former members of the planning board, a former supervisor, plus a writer and others, who bring many years of practical local experience and who are willing to take the time to create a vision for Woodstock's future, which will offer an alternative to spending hard-earned tax money on a consultant for a comprehensive plan. Remaking the wheel, I'm having trouble with this,
You want me to
is
read it?
not the goal of the Woodstock Vision Committee. For example, it will utilize the useful 2009 executive summary of a comprehensive plan signed on to by the town board of that period, which outlines goals and recommendations to Woodstock's future. The Vision Committee will do the work, do the research, compile the facts, and reach out to various components of town government and prepare a real-world, genuine, and well-researched vision for Woodstock's future. And it will cost the town not a penny. We will do it out of love and respect for the traditions and the future of our great town. This is the,
Is this your committee, the one that you've been working with?
yes,
Okay, I didn't know that it had, you gave it a name now.
yeah.
Okay.
So, this committee, our committee, has already had several meetings on planning what to do and how to do it. And so this is the
So let me,
opening salvo.
I did have here somewhere for topic of discussion, there was an email from Sasha and the Comprehensive Plan Committee with the recommendation for, it's in the purple folder, for
I didn't
a
see
planner. It's in there.
Okay.
So what I was going to ask is, do we think we want to sit down next week at our board meeting and see if we can't hash out some way forward with this?
Well, I think, just to go a step further, I bumped into one of those committee members, and I thought she told me it was the Saratoga. Did you confirm that they're recommending Saratoga?
Saratoga and Behan.
Well, yeah, it was a combined,
Yeah.
but, right, so I just didn't know if everybody knew that that was what the recommendation was. I hadn't heard it officially, but I heard it unofficially from one of the members of the group that we asked to review it. So my understanding is that the Behan Saratoga was the proposal that they had recommended as the strongest one.
So I'll just read it real quickly.
Sure.
I have it here. It is the unanimous recommendation of the Comprehensive Plan Committee that the town of Woodstock consider Behan Planning and Design in association with Saratoga Associates as the consulting firm, we're both having a hard time tonight, Jay, to update the town's comprehensive plan. Further advise the town board conduct an in-person interview prior to final selection with the representatives, the Comprehensive Plan Committee, if asked, or for some of its members to be present and participate in this interview process, which I think would be a good idea. But I think, so, and we don't have to decide tonight, but how do we want to move forward? Because we've all talked about the possibility that, we want to hear from Jay's committee, and at least I heard we're all open to the idea, at the very least, of some hybrid plan, at the very least.
I don't think it's necessary or desirable for the board to tonight make a decision.
I'm not,
One way or the other.
no. I'm only asking, do you think we would be ready to discuss it at the next meeting?
To discuss the 7 or this.
All of it, how we plan to move forward.
You know what, it would be helpful, I think, because I'm still thinking I'd like somebody to do the research with the town and let us know what the townspeople are wanting in this comprehensive plan. Do you think your committee could even just speak to us about maybe that particular piece? Because the rest, I have a lot of confidence in, once that information is gathered, having your committee write up the comprehensive plan. You have some really good people who have experience in that field. They're good writers, they understand. But I would like some kind of impartial group to come in and survey the town for what people in town want in this plan. So either you come in with your group to tell us how you're going to handle that a little bit, just that part, not the whole writing of it and everything else. How are you going to handle that little piece of getting all the information, and then maybe talk to the people from Saratoga, well, actually it's in their plan, how they're going to handle it.
Right.
So, or maybe just find out what they want to charge for that piece.
I strongly.
Well, I think it's broken down, actually.
Okay, I can't remember, I looked at all of them and read them all, but now I can't remember. It was broken down in hours.
The only thing I would suggest is that, you know, if we decide we're gonna go, if we decide we're going with Jay's plan, we just move forward with Jay's plan. If we decide we wanna go with some hybrid where there's some professional paid consultant involved, then we're gonna need to sit down, and actually, even if we don't go with Jay's plan, we're gonna need to sit down with the planner and
Right.
renegotiate a price.
Right.
Yeah,
Because I don't-
yeah.
I think a lot of the work's
agree with all
already been
that.
done.
Yeah, I just want to say that I strongly disagree with that idea, Kathy.
Okay.
With,
What,
I'm sorry.
what, trying to get your group to come in and tell us how they're gonna outreach to the community? Well, am I supposed to just like imagine what they're gonna do?
No.
I mean, and I know those people, they're friends of mine, and they're
Well-
good people, but I still would like something that says, this is how we're gonna outreach, because when I spoke to the
Yeah.
person I know on the committee, that was the one thing he didn't want to do.
Can I just say something? Last
Jeff
meeting,
Sobel is no
nobody
longer
knew who was
part
on
of
this committee.
Well, I think we have a sense now, if we look at the,
I know, but you guys keep talking about this committee. Apparently this board knows who this committee is. Nobody else out here knows who
No,
this
no, we
committee
don't,
is.
we don't know who the committee
No,
is.
I don't
Jay does.
oh, yeah,
That's-
Jackie,
that's kinda odd.
Jackie, I didn't know until I read the names here who was on the committee.
Yeah.
I had hints.
Yeah, but there are only three.
Well, no,
You're
I
just looking at an
see,
email
I
here.
see Jeff Moran, Ed Sanders, Jay Wink. I don't know who Jeff
Well, that's
Artwriter
what I'm
is.
saying. I don't.
I know
So-
who Jay Cohen is. I should
Oh,
probably
okay.
know who Jim Doherty is, although
And-
Yeah, but he's saying, and others, so I think that eventually you guys are gonna need to know who all these people are
Yeah, no,
before you can make any
Well,
decision.
and I think that's what Kathy is.
Yeah.
The only name that's missing from this list is David Menzies.
Yeah, and who is Jeff Artwriter?
Jeff Soul.
He
Jeff
is,
Oh, okay.
he's no longer been functioning
Oh,
as part of our
So
group.
Jeff Sobel is not part of the group.
Yes.
Is he out of it altogether then?
Well, he hasn't shown up for several meetings.
Because I know he
Yes.
still was interested.
I think he's still interested, but he was waiting till.
He's never contacted anyone in our committee to indicate anything. And whatever is in his mind, he's kept to himself.
Okay.
So
Okay, I'd like to weigh
I
on this topic.
presume that he has gone bye-bye.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd like to weigh on the topic before we leave it.
All right.
Okay.
And
So,
and I'm just gonna make one other suggestion also
Yeah.
too, and definitely don't forget the people that, you ask people to leave names. I mean, somebody's got, I don't know where they're gonna fall into
Yes.
this, and I know Jeff Sobel's name is on that list also.
we asked people to leave names. What was your, I didn't hear what you said, I don't think.
There was at one point Jeremy said to contact the
Yes.
clerk's office for anybody that would be
We,
interested
we,
in working on
we
the
have a
plan.
list.
And do you have any names?
Yeah, we've got names, Carrie and I have
Yeah.
names.
Okay.
8 or 9, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh,
So I think, it's kind of weird that we're asking people to do it, and then all of a sudden, there's all this other
We're-
stuff that's going on.
Jack, just to be clear, we're not asking anybody to do anything right now. Well, all I'm asking the board is, do we think we will all be prepared to talk about it in our next meeting on Tuesday?
I mean, I can talk about it, but my gut feeling is what I just expressed, that I would like to know a little bit about how they're going to approach the town.
Well, that's what I would want to, that's what we want to be discussing next week.
yeah.
Okay.
So would you be you'd be ready to discuss how your group proposes?
Yes.
So,
Okay.
Okay, I still get a turn, right? Do I get a turn
yes,
still?
you get it. Too.
No, you don't get any.
Okay, everybody else has to be quiet.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, Jay, you know I respect you, and I certainly agree with you on the last item. I hope that we can compromise. I know that you're opposed to spending any money on the comprehensive plan, but I do agree with some points Kathy just made, in that if we have an independent group, I do believe by definition that they are going to be not tied to any, they're not going to have a preconceived idea. I mean, Saratoga did do work on the last plan, so they maybe have some history knowledge, but in terms of having a preconceived idea or a preconceived, whether it's conscious or subconscious, a preconceived idea of where they want to go, I don't think they're gonna have that. I do think that if we have a group that is not made up 100% of Woodstockers, that group may have more of they may be a broader vision of where we might go. They may have other experiences because this is the business they're in, is helping organizations do plans. So I do, and I said before too, that I do think there's some value to having a group that is hired for the purpose of, you're gonna see this plan to completion, because it is my goal, and it was one of my campaign topics, and it's still my goal, is that this town get a current comprehensive plan, that it be a complete and thorough comprehensive plan, and that it be adopted. And so I just think that a combination of great people, and I see great people on this page here, I'm guessing Jackie has great people that have come forward, and I believe that having a combination of great people, along with somebody whose job it is to see it to completion, I just kind of feel like we're gonna have broader ideas. And I know some of these people on this list have broad ideas also, but to bring in a group whose profession is helping communities do plans, I think that it's kind of funny because when you have a smart person, you don't know what their answer is going to be till you ask them the question. And I think that Behan Saratoga, we have other smart people, but they're also smart people and this is their profession. And so we don't know what we wouldn't get by not having them. We won't know unless we have them have a foot in it. I'm not saying pay them all the money they ask for, but I am asking for an open mind because I know, Jay, you have been adamant, $0 to be spent, and sometimes to get the best solution, having a professional in the mix helps get the best solution. I think we would, and I think everybody on this list are very great people, and I guess I hope as we proceed that you could compromise a little on the $0.
So is there a question in there? That's
It's
been on for a while, I
food
couldn't.
for thought. It's just food for thought.
Okay.
And I just wanted to, well, I guess one more
Well,
thing, I know Bill has
At
more.
this point, as a town board member, I am not willing to consider spending one penny on any plan until we, the group that I'm working with, have been able to put something together that meets that goal.
You know what, instead of discussing it at our next meeting, I think it would be better if we had your proposal in hand first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if we get your proposal next Tuesday and start to discuss it, we won't not have that time
To review
to
it.
digest it. So could you have that to us by, say, next Tuesday?
I will move, not heaven and earth, but certainly.
Let's do this. Could you have it to us, or when's our first meeting in December? Go to the calendar.
To the calendar.
So the 13th, December 13th.
That's a good lucky day.
So could you have your proposal to us, to the board, by, say, December 1st? Okay, that gives you a lot of time to come up with the plan.
Yes, sir.
And then we could, we'll have almost 2 weeks to digest it, and then we'll put it on the agenda.
For the 13th.
Yes.
So Jay, basically, that's what I was asking you for. I was asking you for something concrete from your committee, and you said absolutely not.
Well,
And now you're saying,
because,
okay, so I don't, I'm not sure
Because-
what the absolutely not was about.
because Kathy, when, as you had framed the question to me, it was tied to spending some money, a little bit of money or something. And I objected and still object at this point in time as a town board member to the idea of spending
No,
anything.
but what I really was asking you for was something concrete from your committee that we could look at before we made any decision,
Yeah,
which is what you just agreed to. The money's,
Exactly. But again, as you put the question to me, it included the spending of some money.
Okay.
well.
So on the
let's
first,
not-
we'll
let's not-
we'll have a proposal.
Past that.
Okay.
A couple more topics. got a call from Alan Barnes. I think it was Alan Barnes. He is a representative from the Ulster County Volunteer Firefighters Association. I guess some years ago, 2, 3, 4 years ago, they used to have a closed drop box in one of our parking lots. It disappeared.
Yeah.
And the guy doesn't know whether they picked it up and moved it or whatever. But they're wondering if we would be willing to allow them to put one in there, possibly over by family, or
There is one by family.
the family has a drop box.
Yeah, right back there, there's a huge drop.
Well, they want to have a second one. This is for the
Where are the clothes
firefighters.
going, do you know?
They use it to raise money for the Firefighters Association, the burn unit, firefighter training and whatnot. I can send you all an email about the organization, and then maybe the next meeting we could weigh in.
Yeah,
But
well,
isn't there a big drop box behind family?
Probably for family.
But it is just for family, they're saying, this guy wants it so that he can get his own clothes.
I don't
They-
have a
this
dog in this
organization.
fight. I'm
Yeah, no, I'm
just
just saying we
Yeah.
have one there, I don't know if we want, do we want one right
So-
next to another one?
So maybe we would put this one over in Mountain View.
Okay, or
Laura-
someplace else.
Laura,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to
have to.
put family out of the picture.
Okay, that's fine. So maybe Jay, you could just check with family and make sure they have that, and maybe we'll move it someplace else, or maybe we'll decide we don't want one.
Company one wanted it in their parking lot?
You know, I suggested that, and I don't know if they're where that stands, but I'll try and find
Or
out.
the rescue squad?
Laura?
hi. Well, so my point kind of came up, I was going to say that I know that different, when, my understanding is that when groups put out the clothing box, when the clothes are picked up, they get some money for it. So maybe a fundraiser for them, which is fine, but I agree, as long as somebody on the board does talk with family, because we wouldn't want to put it right next to families without family saying, okay, it probably is better to separate it and find a different parking lot to put it in, for that reason, because, if family's fine with it, fine, but
So do you want me to call him back tomorrow and just say, there's already one there that supports Family Woodstock, which is near and dear to our hearts,
Yeah, and there's not a lot of space there either.
and that they should consider the firehouse.
Okay.
well, what about Mountain View though?
Do we want, but
That's, it's, they're right there also, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's not right next to it though, it's a different parking
I
lot.
like the firehouse because it's a little bit.
Firehouse.
it's associated, and if somebody gets out of the car going towards family,
They might
they see
dump it,
that, they might dump it down.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So I guess the
I'm
point
gonna
is,
clarify.
would we prefer to support family, or,
Keeping it separate.
Well, maybe
parking.
ask family, and I could call them and see if the box gets so overfilled that they wouldn't mind another one nearby.
why don't you do
Do
that?
that.
You or Jay, somebody reach out to them, and then send a text or an email to the group.
Okay.
And based on that, I'll either direct them to Mountain View, or I will direct them up to the firehouse.
Bill,
Yes.
lady who came in wanted to sign
Sure.
up for public be heard. And
Whenever you, I would love to, when you're
she
ready.
walked in a second after
We'll-
getting.
Do you need 2 minutes?
We'll give you 2 minutes.
Yes,
Laura. Come
I
on
didn't
up.
want you to think we were, I didn't
No,
want
no,
you.
I did Kathy's, Jackie did tell me it was okay.
Oh, okay.
Where's your bill?
I know.
Shira Fernandez, and, do we have a process for, my question is, do we have a process for resolutions? Is there something in writing, and when they get approved, and is it only the board that approves them? It just seems to me like we do an awful lot of resolving for things that aren't necessarily town-related, when we still have town-related things like parking lots and crosswalks and lighting and town budgets and things too.
It's the
Their
town,
plans.
it's the town board that writes the resolutions and votes on them, yes.
So has no people input, you don't have any input.
You can always-
Absolutely.
you can always-
But you don't know if when you're voting on them, because I know that there have been some that are voted on, so unless you're here and you said it in the beginning, public be heard, I'm not sure how you would have input. Because,
You would have to
Well,
email them.
for instance, the one on Standing Rock was an email that came to me from a resident. and-
all right, but how the rest of the, before you vote on it, I mean, other people, I don't want to spend my time really on this, but to consider, if you weren't at this meeting, you wouldn't know that you put this up, the rest of the town, and you're representing the town.
Mhm. Well,
Like you would-
well, typically though, the agenda gets published and sent out.
Right, but was that Standing Rock was on the agenda?
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
And-
so,
and-
but you didn't vote on it.
And we didn't vote on it.
Right.
And Jay's resolution wasn't on the agenda.
But they'll be on the next
And we
one.
didn't vote
Okay.
on it, for that very
Okay,
reason.
because I know I had talked about a resolution before and sent messages that I would like to know when you were voting on it, because you didn't vote on it at that time.
Refresh my memory, which one that was?
The Israel, BDS,
Okay.
you know. Anyway, I don't want to waste my time on that. I came to talk about the streetlight
Mhm.
outside of my
And I
house.
do not call into Central Hudson.
And I just wanted to, so other people know who I didn't talk to. First of all, there's a lot of light right there. It seems like it's excessive. I'd like to know how I could go about getting rid of that light. In lieu of that, the new LED lights that have been put in are not made for neighborhoods. It's so bright and cold. And Accord has actually, before they put their LED in, any of their lights, they did a map and a survey of all their lights to see if there was some that could save more money by taking any lights out that maybe were unnecessary. So I would like to suggest that certainly, or at least to be thought. And the people in Accord said they'd be glad to talk to our people. It'd be a savings of money, certainly for the town. And there's light pollution is with all these LED lights. There's a lot of health issues with light pollution, and I'm seeing a lot of light pollution around just as you drive around. The fire department over here on Tinker is hugely lit up. Sunflower Lot hugely lit up. The water thing down by before Xena hugely lit up, and it's a lot of money. We have other things we could be doing. It's not necessarily a security thing. I'd like people to consider it. It's excessive for security, and there's a lot of writing that say it's more disruptive to people, to people's mind than it is to safety, because it hasn't stopped the unfortunate deaths that occurred in some of these lit up places. So mine is super lit up, and the Mountain View lot everybody's talking about, and again, this is one of those things I keep asking to be tied in. If parking lot-ish spaces are an issue, putting one of those drop boxes there certainly doesn't seem to be something that makes sense. I live near there, and I know Colony has been, working over in that area. Parking spaces are an issue. I don't think a paid lot, is my opinion, I don't know when that is being voted on, is the answer. Our businesses need to have people to be able to come in here. Because then you're going to talk about paving, because Neil at the Colony already was mentioning paving when I had spoken to him. That's a wetlands. If people start thinking about paving that, Ellen wouldn't let the town clear out an obstructed culvert because it would take machinery in there into a wetland. So why would we want to be, I'm already getting flooded from that because the culvert is still, I'm okay with that.
Nobody is looking to pay.
Okay, but I've heard it, so,
Let me finish.
okay, sure, sorry.
Nobody is looking to pave
Right.
the Mountain View parking lot, with the exception of a small area near the front where you enter into the lot for handicap parking spaces, of which there are 5, or I think 5.
Okay. It is a wet zone, wetlands to be thin, I don't know that we pave other
Yeah,
places.
we're aware of
And
that.
marking, they did a nice job up here at the upper commode without having to pave. And then I worry about lighting.
And we reduced the lighting.
And then I worry about the lighting, because if you start paying.
What, please, is the issue? You started talking about street lamps in front of.
That was the second thing, streetlights. The parking lot issue is multi-layered. Part of it is a lighting, part of it is a paving. I was concerned about the paving. I don't think that it should be paid, and I know, that's just community input, I know it's just what it is. Also, I've spoken with Jeremy and with Bill about, it's the go-to lot, there's no sign. This is what I would like about the lot. I'd like there to be a sign. It says in the code that there's a sign there, but there really isn't. If you look at the parking code, I brought up one other time, and Jeremy straightened me out about what overnight parking is. And there is overnight parking that goes on there. And the police are very loose about doing anything about it. And if there was a sign, I think it would be helpful. We spent an awful lot of money on signs on Mill Stream, 40 signs in a mile stretch of area, and they had to be put in 2 times because they weren't oriented right the first time. That's a lot of money. Having one little sign up there that could help with the overnight parking. And when we bring, somehow, I don't know who gives the permission, it says the town board or their agent can override the laws for who can park there. So we have these big trucks that come in when they're working on the colony or the lighting, and they always park by my house at that end of the lot. Maybe they think they're doing, like Bill said, maybe they think they're doing us a favor, but they idle their trucks right over there. There's the whole lot. It seems like if they're working on the colony, they should park closer to the colony, you know.
They're not parking in there overnight.
Somebody that's working on there, the people that are working on there,
Overnight.
yeah. And
Timeshare.
okay, so,
Now, do you
It's an
live
ongoing-
on the street that now you see the houses I went to look at the trees?
yes, we never really heard back, but yes,
Oh,
that is it.
I
Yeah.
totally went there and I
Yes.
stood in your yard
Yes.
and weren't home.
Right, Mr. White also.
And I looked at the trees and I realized that, you know, you can still see the mountains. I mean, it's all scruffy looking and I agree with that, but you can still see the mountains from your yard, whether the trees are there or not. I could see them very easily, just stood in your backyard. But I didn't go in the gate area because I didn't want to go in there since you weren't home, and I was right next to your little fence.
Yeah, well, once you're in the backyard, it is a different story, but, you
And
know,
just
I
to-
can't get everything, but I
And
can ask.
just to finish up, the guy from Central Hudson, I left him a message, he is on vacation. Hopefully,
Excellent,
I think he's gone 2 weeks, so he should be back up next Monday.
thank you so
I'll
much.
let you know when he gets back to me.
Thank you all.
Couple more
Holy moly.
topics to discuss.
Yes, because the boats are already coming in for
Well, then let's focus.
Let's go on.
Now, on October 26th, Therese from the planning board sent us an email regarding a reduction in parking fees, parking in lieu of fee for seasonal seating, outdoor seating. Any thoughts on that? I emailed you guys and never heard back from anybody except Jay.
Yeah, I would be willing to consider that for at least a $450 fee.
So you're saying cut it in half?
Yeah.
Actually,
The seats, outdoor seating is pretty much available for somewhat more than half the year. But in addition, I'd like to add, in the pay in lieu of parking law or whatever, we have mention of an annual maintenance fee, which has never been established or collected.
correct.
And so I've spoken to Therese up in the planning board office, and she has agreed to develop the records of all of the pay in lieu of parking spaces from all of the different stores and people. I've spoken with the town clerk about the possibility of using those records to develop a system for sending out the bill for such a purpose. And Jackie told me that she'd have a consultation with Pam, our bookkeeper,
Okay.
about that. It's not in yet, but I'm working on this. And I think that it's important, as long as we're talking about the pay in lieu of, to develop this maintenance fee, which has never been done or collected. And certainly there is maintenance that the town puts into all of the parking lots. And I would suggest that that maintenance fee, and I realize this is slightly away from the immediate topic here, I would suggest that the maintenance fee be $150 per spot per year. And that's just an off-the-top recommendation. But again, I would favor the outdoor seating at $450.
Okay, I just want to ask one question. The 450, I do have an email where you suggested 600, so you're back to 450?
Yeah,
Okay.
And so the regular is 900 now, is that?
900, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I would go with the 450 for the season outdoor seating. As far as Jay's other proposal about the annual maintenance, I would want to first see the list of who all paid for the in lieu of parking, so we have an idea of how much of a shock we're going to give people, because we might want to ramp it up as opposed to just boom, year one, you have to pay 150 per spot. Depending on how many spots they have, it could be a shock. So I would want to look at that list first before we implement.
I agree with that, because some people may be paying for 5 or 6 or 7 spots, and that could cost them $1,000 a year. So I'd like to see what, and who's paying what before I say, oh, yeah, let's just raise that up.
And the other question of whether or not we should be grandfathering, or whether we should just have the annual fee for new requests for in lieu of.
I don't think we should grandfather it, because, you know,
It wouldn't be
it
fair.
wouldn't be right. I mean, the people
Okay.
are gonna pay
No,
maintenance fee.
I
I think it should be
wouldn't.
stopped. We're not gonna ask for back money, but, you know,
Right.
we're gonna charge
I-
But
somebody.
we should give people notice. We should have given them notice that have
Well,
plenty
yeah,
of
we
care
can
for
do
the
that,
money.
but I think it should be equal for everybody.
Okay.
I wouldn't suggest grandfathering at
No,
all.
no, not at all.
Okay, but as long as we give people notice, as long as they have an idea of the calculation of what they're gonna have to pay, and we tell them, maybe we start 6 months from now, maybe we start a year from now, just so they have time to gather the money and know as they're budgeting that they have to do it. So I just don't wanna cause anybody a big problem, or a big shock. So,
I agree.
So where do you land on the,
450, that's fine.
okay. So just going to write a quick resolution here.
Are you gonna do it now, the resolution,
I-
or wait until
We do it
we
all next week.
Well,
just get the,
the only problem is that this did come on the 26th, and they have an applicant who's being held up.
well, if we vote on it next week, it's holding up another week if they
I don't know, I know Therese was,
trying to get it.
she called today and said, oh, what happened to the resolution? And I said, I never heard back from anybody. So,
26.
you know, I mean, you know what a month, a week,
Yeah,
Well,
I think
that's
that's-
fine.
and actually it'd be
So
several.
yes, I think a week, so you don't want to wait a week. That's fine, I'm fine. We can, if
Okay.
you choose to write it up now.
So I would say, be it resolved to amend the fee schedule for the parking and lieu of fee to charge $450 per parking space for spaces associated with outdoor seasonal seating.
Yeah,
No.
or might you just want to say it's half price, because I know it's $450 now, but if we ever change the main price,
Well, we'll change it altogether.
fine, all right.
Good point.
Second.
A question for discussion
Okay.
about this.
Jay?
Should we consider doing something about the in lieu of parking fees that we've charged that have included outdoor seating in the past? For instance, I don't know what the situation is with the pizza parlor that has a lot of outdoor seating in decent weather. And I don't know
You
what.
know, the only thing I would say, Jay, is that I get where you're coming from, but remember, we charged $700 for a spot, then we went to $100,
Mhm.
then we went back to $900,
Mhm.
you know, so,
We're flighting.
well, I'd like to
Well, we had
think,
reasons, we had reasons at the time.
I'd like to think we had good reasons, but, you know, we didn't go back and refund people or not refund people. I
To
mean,
go forward. It's-
prices, they do go up and they do go down.
Okay, good point.
You know, I feel bad because the station board, you know, I mean, they have outdoor seating. You know, it didn't come up, it wasn't brought to our attention.
Okay,
Okay.
We do have a vote on, is this about the vote?
Yeah, I want
Okay.
to ask you this question. So say the pizzeria, I'm just guessing, has 10 in lieu of parking spaces. Are we charging them $450 for all 10 of them, or just for maybe half? Because they're still going to have customers in the winter.
We're not charging them anything because they've already got the spaces. We're talking about new groups.
All right.
This is for
New applicants.
new applicants coming through. So I come in with an application,
Yeah,
and I have 50 indoor seats, and I want to put 20 outdoor seats. So I have all the
so
parking
it's
for my,
separated, that was my question.
Yes.
It's separated so that just the outdoor seats get charged half the price.
well, they're gonna add up what they have, they're gonna look at, what they're adding, and then if it's outdoor seating that's causing them to go over, they'll charge them.
Yeah, and I think we'll just put in it's
Yeah.
half, but as opposed to putting the 450, I think just say half, because the other thing too is when we get to the annual maintenance fee, the half would apply there too. So if we just say that the in lieu of parking fee for seasonal outdoor seating will be half of whatever the going rate is, then no matter whether.
Let's leave it at let's leave it at 450, only because we may go up, we may go down. I mean,
Well, that's my point, but but the whole point is. it's-
we may not
it's
want to
half
make it
time.
half though. I mean, it could be all over.
Well, but I'm guessing that outdoor.
Does anybody else want to change it to half?
Call the question.
Call the question. All in favor? Aye. Next topic. So just a heads up, I did get a call from our town attorney the other day. We got a call from an attorney from the bank in a panic because Woodstock was listed with a group of communities that was losing their floodplain insurance from FEMA. And yes, there was a letter that was sent out. It's a form letter that got sent out to a lot of communities. I am assured by the DEC, if you recall, we updated our floodplain law a couple
Well,
of
we
meetings
did,
ago.
right,
Yeah,
for that reason.
yes,
So we wouldn't lose it.
right, and so everything is proceeding along, it's at the DEC, they're reviewing it, it all looks good, there shouldn't be any problems. And what the gentleman at the DEC, Bill Neckerman, informed me, is that FEMA updates this list of communities on a daily basis. So anybody who's going for a mortgage, the bank would look that day and say, okay, Woodstock is still covered, we'll still be covered. So it's a form letter, it doesn't mean anything, it went out to everybody. So that's not an issue. Last topic I wanted to bring up, Jay had, I stumbled upon him meeting with CSAC committee the other day, down at the entrance of the Como, discussing the piers there and possible redesign at some point or repairing of the piers. And Laura, a little while ago, brought up to me about the crosswalks. So
Right down home, right.
what I thought is you two guys should talk a little bit over the next couple of weeks and see where your plan's progressing and see how it all gels, because that's a busy little area down there.
We want to plan it together.
Subsequently at the CSAC meeting, Richard Hebner chose to be in charge of developing a plan.
Okay.
And I told him that I would help him, I would work with him. But I think it'll be a little while, probably 2 weeks at least, before we're ready to talk. But I'll be happy to contact Laura at that point,
Okay.
whatever that point is, in order to consolidate and coordinate.
So if you do that with Jay, and then
I'll
I'll light a fire under Dennis.
Okay, well, can I be talking to Dennis directly? That's my question, because for the crosswalk, I would like to be able to talk to Dennis directly.
Yeah.
At some point.
Let me tell him that you'll call him next week. And that'll prod him along. Hopefully he'll have some information by then.
Jay, can I just ask you one question?
Certainly.
What is CSAC's opinion on widening that intersection? It definitely needs to be widened.
Yeah, there are, in my opinion, there are two different minds down there on CSAC. Some people agree that it should be widened, others agree or feel that it should not, and requiring people to be more careful as they go in and out. I believe it should be widened. I've felt that way for a long time, but in any event, I imagine the majority of the voices there believe that a plan should develop. be developed that may include a sidewalk or whatever.
No, just hold it up.
So Richard Hefner's going to be in charge of that. I will be helping him. One of the aspects of it is to talk to the church next door, and see about, because our property line is right up to theirs.
Right.
You know, Jackie, I'll tell you, I had a good sense after the meeting the other day that there's some willingness to move forward. I think they would like to move forward. They'd like to see the whole thing thought out. I don't, that's a good idea.
I mean, you know today, a road would never be built like that with an intersection down there. I mean, it's crazy, and there have been many times where it's
Yeah,
been very close, and even with people walking there, I mean, they got the parking lot right down on both sides, so you got people walking also at the same
Right,
time as
right.
cars are trying to come in and out.
And we talked about, in conjunction with widening it, there should be something provided for foot traffic.
Right,
So
yeah.
and I'm sure the church will work with
there seems,
some sort of an easement or some sort of
it was
a,
indicated to me that there's a willingness there to.
they work well with the hardware store there, letting them park in there and stuff like that. They seem to want to be good neighbors anyway.
Well, I'll be happy to update all of you on what develops.
So as that develops, keep Laura in the loop and see how the crosswalk
Yes.
fits into it all.
So I had an item, we're still on announcements, I think, right?
I think topics, but announcements, topics.
Yeah.
They-
Well, I just wanted to mention, I unfortunately was not here Saturday when the Keegan Bell was unveiled or opening, but I will say I have been by to see the Keegan Bell, and it looks fabulous. And so even though I couldn't be there Saturday, I just want to say publicly, thank you to everybody that worked on it. I know there were, I'd hate to say all the names of who worked on it, I probably missed some people, but the group that did work on the Keegan Bell right in front of the community center, it does look fabulous. Great job to the group that did that.
It was a nice ceremony.
Did I tell you that Jim Hansen approached the American Legion for their service on 9/11? To, at one point during the service, to
Do the bell.
ring that bell 11 times.
Did they? are they
They're
gonna-
working on it, oh yeah,
Good.
Nice.
yeah. So I mean, those are the reasons that you want the bell there, to be able
Sure.
to use it for something, something good. So,
I'm happy to hear that
Yeah.
because it was way back in the good old days, that was the standard practice for churches and cathedrals to ring the bell 11 times at 11 o'clock in the morning.
good, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some resolutions. Whereas the town of Woodstock has entered into a subrecipient agreement with the Governor's Office for Storm Recovery, an Office of New York State Housing Trust Fund Corporation that provides funds for eligible community development block grant disaster recovery, CDBG-DR expenditures. And whereas the subrecipient agreement requires procurement activities funded in whole or in part by CDBG-DR funds to be conducted in compliance with applicable United States Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD procurement regulations, as well as applicable state and local law. And whereas on December 26, 2013, the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, published at 78 Federal Register 78608, the 2 CFR Part 200 Uniform Administration Requirements, cost principles, and audit requirements for federal awards that supersede the HUD procurement provisions of 24 CFR. This is parts 84 and 85. And whereas HUD has issued new procurement standards as set forth in Notice SD 2015-1, transition to 2 CFR Part 200 Uniform Administrative Requirements, Cost Principles, and Audit Requirements for Federal Awards, final guidance, and in notice.
Keep going, you're
I
doing
didn't
good.
drink here.
You can do it.
CPD-16-04, additional transition and implementation guidance for recipients of community planning and development CPD funds for 2 CFR Part 200 Uniform Administrative Requirements, Cost Principles, and Audit Requirements for Federal Awards. Oh my God.
I even understand that?
And whereas the town of Woodstock desires to revise and amend its procurement procedures to be consistent with HUD notices on 2 CFR Part 200, and whereas the town of Woodstock desires to apply the amended and revised procurement procedures to future CDBG-GR procurements, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Woodstock Town Board that for CDBG-DR procurement actions undertaken on or after January 1st, 2017, the town of Woodstock shall comply with the procurement standards as set forth in 2 CFR Parts 200.317 through 200.23
Vice versa.
326.
326, thank you. In the event of a conflict between state and local laws and regulations and the procurement requirements of 2 CFR Part 200, the more stringent requirements will apply.
Second.
So just,
Just wait until we make the official language here Yiddish.
We just did.
so I think it says it all. This is, that there was a change in the procurement, we just have to update, and this is all for the
Was
community,
this from Bill?
this Lancashire. This is all for the community the community rising projects that we're hopeful of spending some money on. All in favor, or do I have a second?
Yeah, I did, Kathy did, I think Jay did too.
Okay, everybody
I
second?
don't know who Jackie wrote down.
What first?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next resolution. So we've already done one for 2017, but the tree committee came back and said we needed to do one, backdate one for 2016. So before I read this whole thing, everybody I think has had a chance to look. Is there any wording that would be appropriate to change?
No.
Well, I just thought, where you talk about the date, it says, we recognize and urges all residents to celebrate Arbor Day. I would say this and future Arbor Days, because it seems kind of odd to tell everybody to celebrate Arbor Day when it happened 5-7 months ago.
Well, it's like
So
saying,
I'd rather say celebrate this and future Arbor Days. This and future would be what I would add.
okay, the way I read it was, it's like saying celebrate Christmas. So you celebrate Christmas, you celebrate all,
Well, I mean, it's not a big issue. If everybody just wants to leave it the way it is, it's not a big issue. I just thought it was either way, right?
Well, I'll say this and this.
Because you give the date. Well, if you didn't give the date of when Christmas was, then you could say, let's all celebrate Christmas. But you say, it's Friday, April 29th, 2016, and let's all celebrate.
Celebrate, celebrate, I will say, well, we can't celebrate this date because it's already gone.
That's my
Or
question.
celebrate all of
Right,
Arbor Days.
so we can't say celebrate this
Yeah,
one.
Sure,
We
exactly.
can, what Jackie said is,
Celebrate all Arbor Days.
Celebrate
Or each
all-
Arbor Day.
all
Celebrate
Arbor
each
Day.
Arbor Day,
Every Arbor Day.
every Arbor Day, there you
Can
go.
we celebrate Christmas?
You can.
You don't.
If you choose to. You don't have to if you don't want to.
board.
Yeah,
It's a religious holiday.
we can still celebrate.
But we have the day off.
We can't make anybody else
The town
celebrate.
employees have the day off, what they do on that day is up to them.
Yes. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout New York, the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs an average of $39 per tree per year, remove 261 pounds of pollutants every year per tree, produce life-giving oxygen, remove 24 tons of carbon dioxide each year per tree. Wow, that's a lot. and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance our economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees wherever they are planted are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, therefore be it resolved, the Woodstock Town Board does hereby proclaim Friday, April 29, 2016 to be recognized as National Arbor Day in the town of Woodstock, and we urge all residents to celebrate every Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and further urge all citizens to plant new trees and maintain and care for their existing trees, so to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved to waive all meter charges for municipal water with the quarter beginning December 1st, 2016 for the property delineated as 20 Wiley Lane belonging to Yale Epstein, as the house was burned to the ground and is in the process of being rebuilt. This resolution will remain in effect until the new hookup is required and the water sewer superintendent is notified to install the new meter. The owner is responsible for the cost of the new hookup and new meter.
Second.
So this could come from
Larry Allen, right,
Yeah.
right. So I heard back from Carrie that there was checked to make sure there's no leakage.
no leakage and it's been turned off.
Yeah, good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved to waive fees for the use of the Mescal Hornbeck Community Center by a family of Woodstock's mental health first aid training sessions open to the public on the following dates in November of 2016. The 4th, 5th, 7th, 11th, and 14th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved to authorize the supervisor to sign the building permit for the Woodstock Chamber of Arts and Commerce to perform improvements to the information booth on Rock City Road. I actually called everybody the other day, and I think Kathy, you're the only one I spoke to. So we all know the chamber booth on Rock City
Well, we
Road.
know that they had requested some changes. I'm just curious which ones we've approved.
And that's what, so you know the booth. So what they want to do, it's all interior. They want to sheet rock, they want to insulate and paint it.
And they're
So-
paying for it?
Yep, they're paying for it, not us.
Second.
Jackie, that should have been you. Do you want to have Kathy secede to you so you can say that one?
You want me to? Sure.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And just, there was one little glitch. We did this, if you remember, this same resolution. So be it resolved to correct resolution 199-2016 from Hudson Valley Little League to Mountain Valley Little League.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody have anything else?
Well, I know, Jay, you have an aquifer discussion tomorrow, I think, right?
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
Right, and I do have to go to Poughkeepsie tomorrow, so
And what?
I have to go to Poughkeepsie. I sent you an email, you may have seen it or not, but I'm not available. Unfortunately, I'd like to be there, but not available.
Yeah, well, it'll be, the discussion will be about going ahead with Steve Winkley's latest report,
Cool.
or whether any questions come up.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'll talk to you afterwards and find out how it went.
Good. So, just a reminder, Thursday, 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
Town Hall.
Okay.
Bring your budgets. We did not get, we're still working off the old budget, because there were only a couple of minor changes, if you remember.
And we had pages,
I
we had those
gave
pages.
each of you 2 or 3 new
And the
pages.
bottom line wasn't changed, as I recall.
The bottom line has not been changed. And then next Tuesday, you will have
Business.
your packets for the zoning public hearing,
Mhm.
zoning amendments.
And vouchers,
And vouchers to sign.
and vouchers.
Come sign your vouchers.
You got it.
With that, motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.